Hello everyone. In this video I will talk about the movie, Career Opportunities. The film begins with the confident speech of the main character. He speaks to an audience of dogs who listen to him attentively. Soon the owner of the veterinary clinic comes in and literally throws the guy out the door. Then our hero performs in front of the yard boys and then tells stories in a roadside cafe in a small town. Everyone knows Jimmy what a slacker and a dreamer he is. He asks the gas station owner to hire him, but is refused. The man advises him to move to a city where no one knows him and where he could start all over again. When Jimmy sees an attractive girl at the gas station, he immediately tries to impress her. The beauty sees this and smiles. Suddenly, our hero is pulled by someone's hand. It turns out to be the father of a guy who found out that his son lost his job at a veterinary clinic. The son, as usual, invents excuses, but the father does not believe him. Later, at a family dinner, we find out that our hero has already been fired 20 times and no one supports the guy at the table except his own mother. It's not enough that you're worthless slug, you're sitting on your parents' neck. In the morning, Jimmy's father drives him to another interview and threatens to kick him out of the house if he does not get this job. At the interview, the guy is mistaken for another person and is offered the position of store manager. Our hero understands this and he even manages to raise the proposed salary by several thousand. A call is heard from a telephone conversation. It becomes clear that a mistake has occurred and the guy is ready to offer only the position of a night cleaner with a salary of $4.44 per hour. Meanwhile, in the mansion of a local businessman, there is a meeting with representatives of the governor. Later, the girl we saw earlier at the gas station appears in the room. Josie is his daughter. She doesn't get along well with her father, and by his behavior, he tries to annoy him. After the spoiled negotiations, the angry father enters his daughter's room and threatens to beat her for disobedience. The next evening, Jimmy orders a limo rental to celebrate his first working night in a new place. Along the way, he meets boys, to whom he once again tells fairy tales about his rich life and about beautiful girls with whom he allegedly meets. The guy arrives at the supermarket shortly before closing, and all visitors are invited to go to the ticket offices. We see that Josie is also in this store and is in no hurry to return home at all. After closing, the intern is given a robe, the previous cleaner, and the cleaning plan is explained in a rigid form. During the conversation, he learns that he will be at the workplace completely alone all night. Besides, he was locked outside and he won't be able to leave the store until the morning. Jimmy starts cleaning, albeit with difficulty, but he manages to clean up the aisles between the rows and he decides to take a break. The guy entertains himself in every possible way. Do not hesitate to take things and food straight from the shelves of stores. Soon he completely forgets about his duties and turns the supermarket into a personal amusement park. While roller skating between the shelves, he notices a girl who is looking at him intently. The guys have an awkward conversation, during which Jimmy finds out how Josie ended up in a closed supermarket. She can't get along with her tyrant father and therefore decided to spend the night in an empty store. After listening to the fugitive, the guy quickly comes to his senses and begins to take care of an unexpected guest. He treats her to dinner using goods and food from store shelves for this. While eating, the guy talks incessantly, talks about himself and his family, and the girl listens attentively and sweetly, smiling. At this time, a couple of criminals who robbed a man earlier in the day and stole his car enter the town. Father Joseph of the sheriff's company started searching for his missing daughter. After the meal, the guys sat down in garden chairs and Josie told Jim that behind his back everyone called him a city liar. These words offend the guy and As always, he begins to justify himself. Jimmy asks if Josie considers him a liar, like everyone else, to which the girl replies that she doesn't know him too well. Despite the fact that they went to the same school, the guys start talking heart to heart, in which they share their problems and start arguing about which of them is having a harder time living in the city. Jimmy continues to do his own, but Josie pursues the guy and makes him admit that he is an ordinary liar who is afraid to grow up, and the young man persuades the girl to settle her difficult relationship with her father. Then, during the conversation, the guys decide to move to Los Angeles together, forget about the past and start all over again. Passing by robbers notice a bright shop sign and stop. Josie confesses to Jim that she has a large amount of money in her purse, which will be enough for them to move. Also, the girl asks how she can make amends for the offense caused, and Jimmy asks to give him just one dance, which once long ago did not take place at their school. The beauty was surprised by this answer. She expected to hear something completely different. The guys get even closer and later enjoy each other. Suddenly there is a knock. Jimmy goes to the glass door and sees that the local sheriff is knocking, who is looking for a missing girl. He saw that the light is on in the store and decided to check. What's the matter? Jimmy replies that he is alone in the store and can't let the policeman in because they didn't leave him the keys. He was locked outside until the morning. Having received explanations, the sheriff returns to the car with a sense of accomplishment. The guys continue to fool around and happily rollerblading between the shopping malls. Their fun is interrupted by bandits who somehow got into the store. In a stupor, they crash into the robbers and take advantage of the confusion to hide in the fitting rooms of the shopping center, but one of the robbers still manages to find the fugitives. Having laid them on the floor and pointing their weapons, the thieves begin their interrogation. Undeterred, Jimmy tries to deceive them and says that he is involved in a gangster deal for a huge amount of money. The girl is his hostage, and it's better for them to get out of the store as soon as possible so that they don't have problems when the situation gets out of control. The clever kid grabs the radio and pretends to communicate with accomplices who are about to storm the store. He manages to disarm the robbers, but they answer that the guns are not loaded and Jimmy is forced to settle. The conflict is peaceful. Now I'll bring everyone a couple of hot dogs and get to know each other better. The bandits take control of the situation, and then Josie has her own rescue plan. She offers the bandits to rob the store as soon as possible and take her share. The robbers agree and begin to rob the shelves almost indiscriminately. Jim has no choice but to just watch it. Unable to stand it, Jimmy still tries to prevent the robbery of the store, but Josie persuades the guy not to interfere. This one is inferior when loading things into the car. The bandits are distracted. The girl manages to imperceptibly get behind the wheel and drive away completely looted. Meanwhile, Jim goes into the security room and takes a gun. He decides not to be afraid anymore and fight back against the robber. On the speakerphone, the guy lures the bandits and neutralizes their attention. In the morning, Josie returns to the store for her lover, and the policeman who arrived at the crime scene finds the thieves tied up sitting in the middle of the trading floor. When leaving the city, Jim manages to once again brag to the boys he knows, but this time it's a real girl. After some time, the guys are sitting at swimming pool overlooking the Hollywood Hills and enjoying a free independent life. The movie ends. All bye. Subscribe.